Hi everyone. In the two earlier videos, I showed how you might set up some of the topics in Moodle, and I wanted to give you a few more options for things you can do. So we're back in Cynthia's course, and I've cleaned out what we did in the last sessions. Um, so again, you're going to start with settings, and this is the editing spot for the actual block in Moodle. We'll make a couple changes. We'll change the section name. So this one might be, let's say it's a component for, or a setup for a reusable learning object. And research and design perhaps is the name of the project. And here's the spot for this unit. And we're going to go ahead and just save this. And certainly, always nice to dress things up with a photo and that sort of thing. So we looked at adding a few things. I want to show you adding a page. And when we do lengthy instructions, um, I do them in a page, and it's just simply a web page. And this should be a quick description of what's going on. And I do not generally display the descriptions, but you have to fill something out. So here's where the content is. Okay, so here's where you would be putting in your detailed instructions, links. You can do things like bullet items. Whoops. You can add links. Well, I can't type yet. And simply adding links, it's highlighting again. Here we go. HTTP colon. We'll just pick a link I already have. Have links open in new windows again. It takes people away from the page if you open it in the same window. So new windows. You can give it a title, but you don't need to. And ignore class and just go ahead and insert that. We could be adding a photo here if we needed to, or perhaps there would be an image. And as an image, I'm going to just see what I already have listed. And I think I had some, but let's see what I have for recent files. Oh, I had this one, okay, which was a chart, which was kind of helpful, hopefully. So we'll just add this. And again, in the last one, I talked about adjusting appearance and size. It should have some kind of a descriptive name, and that's so that if one of your students has a visual aid like a screen reader, it will have at least an indication of what it is that's in front of them. And okay, so it's the general thing. If I want to see, it can be hard to work like this. You're working in a small window. This button here will toggle this to full screen mode. And so then I can actually see kind of what the whole thing is. If there was something like, perhaps this link was too big or too small, I could toggle HTML and I can now see what the code is behind this, and perhaps I wanted to change the size. Just realize if you change the height, if I make this like 200, it's now going to really squish things around. But if I had a problem with a link, I could inspect it here and make sure that, oh yes, it's the good link, or actually that should be .org or something like that. If I make any changes here, I just need to click update. With Moodle, weblogs, wikis, all that sort of things, if you often make changes to a page, it's always helpful to scroll to the bottom because you'll often see a save or update button. And then I just simply want to get back to see my small screen again. And there you go. And then I'm going to go down to the bottom save it and display or save and return. We'll go ahead and save and return. I tend to do that just so I can see it up here. And you can see that right now I have this web page here. So here it is. When I want to see what my students will see, I can just go ahead and change my role, and I'll make my role be a student. And yep, my students will now see this, and when they open it, they'll see this really great page, and I can check my link. And yes, indeed, Longreads opens up just fine. By the way, if you teach anything involving reading or writing, Longreads is very helpful as a great source for articles. And so there you go. That is simply designing a web page, and it is probably one of the most helpful ways of presenting information. You know, one quick thing I wanted to say, I try to keep, as do most people, I try to keep these boxes relatively concise. In your course, you know, there's not a ton of information there, a photo and a brief writing. And that's because if I put all the information, excuse me, if I put all the information here, this box would take up all this space. And so you notice when you're in our course, these boxes are pretty tight, but everything opens so that, you know, you can start here, do the next thing, keep going in the next thing, and see things in multiple ways. You also want to be careful about presenting too much information up here. You know, I try to keep things pretty limited, one or two clear links so that you can see them and get to them, and that's about it. So there you go. That's another quickie, and this is on creating web pages as a means of presenting information in Moodle.